If you are looking for a full-size truck that offers several available powertrains for towing and hauling needs, the long cabin provides excellent rear legroom and overall interior space, the massive bed capacity, and a bounty of in-bed tie-downs are a plus, and the touchscreen display is attractive and easy to use. Well, you may very well be in the market for a 2022/2023 because there are no changes coming for 2023 GMC Sierra 1500 Denali. And we're going to answer the question today, is this truck worth the price tag of $74,555? Starting here with the redesigned front end. The bumper, the grille, everything is changed for 2022, including the headlight design. Just a great overall look. A little bit more of an aggressive look. It looks a little bit lower to the ground, but you still have that aggressive size grille. And with this trim level, if you like chrome, well, you're in luck because there's a lot of it, not only here on the front end, but other places on the truck that we'll look at as we go through things. Let's talk a little bit about the headlights. I talked about how they are redesigned. These are the IntelliBeam headlights that detect lighting conditions and other vehicles. And ultimately what they do is they turn the high beams on and off as needed, depending on vehicle speed. Now keep in mind, these IntelliBeam headlights only work at speeds above 25 miles per hour. But if you say to yourself, you know what, I want to control when those high beam headlights go on and go off, you can control that functionality right here with this button on the end of the turn signal stalk. You know, you can push that button to turn that feature with the automatic high beams on and off. You can also use this lever to let people around you know what you're doing. When you're turning to the right or changing lanes to the right, you push it into the up position. And the same thing to the left, it goes into the down position in case you didn't know what that was for. Here under the hood of the multiple engine options available that I mentioned earlier, this is the 5.3 liter V8. Let's talk about numbers here. It makes 355 horsepower and 383 pounds-feet of torque. It's mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission, and the MPGs come in at 15 city, 19 highway, 16 combined, and you should use 6.2 gallons of gas for every 100 miles driven. And to bring that home a little bit better, make it a little bit easier to understand, this truck has a 24-gallon gas tank. Let's talk tire and wheel size. These are 275 50s, 275 around, 50 series sidewall. It's going to contribute to a good ride quality, as will the magnetic ride suspension, which is not standard on these trucks. Also not standard is the 22-inch wheel, but it is an option. You do get 20-inch wheels if you want that. You also have the option of 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive, depending on what you want to spend. And one more thing on tires before we move on. The spare tire size is 255/80 with a 17-inch rim, just in case you were wondering. Now, let me give you a good look at the remote. And obviously, it's going to have remote start. You're going to have your heated, power adjustable, and power folding side view mirrors. So here's the thing. Notice that the mirrors fold in when I unlock the truck or unfold, and then they're going to fold back in when I lock the truck. There's a setting within the infotainment system to where you can set it to do that or not, depending on what you want, and a button obviously on the interior to push, and it will allow those mirrors to fold in or fold out depending on your situation. You also have passive entry here on the driver and passenger side doors in the front. You push that button, it unlocks all 4 doors. And another of my favorite features here, the power side steps on both sides of the truck, but that's not all these do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let that go back in real quick, well, maybe slowly, but there is a button on the rear. Keep in mind, this is a button, it is not a motion sensor. So what you're going to do, and you have to have the truck unlocked for this to work. So let me unlock everything and we'll get it to work here. There we go. You kick that button basically with your foot or push it with your foot, and it allows your step to come back and make it easier to gain access to the front of the bed. This works on both sides, obviously. That way, if you have something inside the bed that's in the front, you don't have to worry about getting in or whatever to get to it. Just makes things a lot easier. Speaking of the bed, well, here within the bed, you have the bumper step back here, 2 bumper steps on each side. They're not really within the bed, but they're back here in the bed area. But you have that. You've also got your dual exhaust back here. I showed you that earlier when we did the exhaust clip. And then we have the Multi-Pro tailgate that does, well, basically everything you could imagine. You can use it as a table. You can use it to use as a bed extender. There's a couple of different ways to do that. It can be used as a step. There's all kinds of things going on here. You've got the bed liner here, very nice, good that at the price point of this truck, it should come with a bed liner, right? You also have the LED lighting that shines forward in the bed. And the good thing that I like here is that getting in and out is so easy. You have the handle that you can stow away or bring into place to grab onto to get in and out. It's very easy, probably the easiest step in the industry to use. I know the Ford F-150s and F-Series trucks have that as well, but it's not quite like this. One thing that is different here that this particular truck doesn't have is the fact that there is no lighting back here built into the area where you would normally have your kicker audio system. If it were back here, you can have lighting on the outside of each side here, basically, as I'm showing you on the screen. That is really nice. Let's talk about functionality. What about towing and payload? Let's talk about those numbers. 13,000 pounds towing when properly equipped, and up to 2,030 pounds with payload. 323 rear gear with an active 2-speed transfer case and auto locking rear diff. Obviously, the trailer packaging integrates trailer brake control, and boy, I tell you what, there is just so much here. We're just getting started. Let's hop into the interior and see what you'll find there. And here within the interior, nice large door bins. You're going to have that wood grain trim here on the doors, front and rear, obviously. And the thing I like here, again, still surprised that other truck makers haven't come up with this same thing for their trucks, the in-seat storage for the seat backs. You can also raise the seats up, the seat cushions up. That's not unusual, but that is there. And lots of space back here. Let me hop inside. You've got plenty of leg room here in the rear seat area. Lots of drink holders, the fold-down armrest right here with 2 built-in drink holders, and then 2 more drink holders right here on the rear of the center console, as are the dual air conditioning vents, a couple of USB options, and you have heated outboard seats. So whoever's sitting in the middle here is just going to have a cold butt if it's really cold during the winter, right? Now, no panoramic sunroof here. You do have the conventional size sunroof. Tell me down in the comments, or more importantly, tell GMC down in the comments. Would you like to see them add a panoramic sunroof when they redesign these trucks to possibly add something like that? And if you hop into your 2023 or 2022 GMC Sierra and you notice there's no child safety lock option on the driver's side door panel, that's because they're on the doors right here. There's a couple of reasons why you want to know this. In case you hop into the truck and you're alone and both of them are activated, well, you're gonna have to crawl through this crawl space or the pass through in the front seat to get out and let yourself out. So here's how they work. They're right here. When they're in the down position like that, they're active. When they're in the up position like that, basically facing the outside of the truck or outside towards the top of the door, that means they're not active. So make sure you check that before you ever hop into the back seat. And here are the front seats, starting with the passenger side door panel. A nice large door bin. Gonna have the wood grain paneling that's not only there, but it works its way onto the upper glove box right here. Upper and lower glove boxes, plenty of space there. You're gonna have this nice large 13.4-inch touchscreen. We'll talk a little bit more about that. And then all of the controls and everything here for multiple features. You can turn on the hazard lights. You can turn on the auto stop start feature off, which I always recommend doing that. Some of your safety features are located there as far as turning those off or on. And then check out this information here. Everything that you have here, you're probably wondering because you see all these pins right here about the charging pad. There doesn't seem to be anything there. Well, that's because it's moved right here. I'm going to show you where it is. I hope you can see that on the screen. If not, I'll make sure to get you a shot. But you can see where I put my phone right there. It's actually between the console and the console lid basically right there, but that's where the charging pad is. And then the new shifter. Tell me what you think about that. I know a lot of people have varying opinions about the shifters on these trucks. Would you rather have a column shifter? Maybe some of you might even like a push button shifter. Most people don't seem to like that, but it is an option. And then a nice large deep console, all kinds of space in there. It doubles as an armrest. The lid does doubles as an armrest for the driver and the passenger up here while they're sitting in the fully power ventilated and heated front seats. And then moving over here to the driver's side door, seat memory, 2 different settings there and all of the controls you would expect to see. And then you've got your mode selector and your controls for all the lighting in and around the truck. And going back over here to the infotainment screen, it's interactive. You have Google Assistant here, so you actually use your voice commands for directions. You don't have to go in and manually put anything in or anything like that. For your navigation that's built in, you've got all your trailing functions here and all that good stuff. And really nice camera views all around the truck, not just a rear view camera, but there are cameras everywhere. In fact, you have the 360-degree view. You also have a front camera washer. And so here's the button on the turn signal stalk right here. When you push that button, it's going to spray windshield washer fluid, not only on the windshield, but also across the front camera in case you need to clean that off. The 360-degree view and a multitude of additional cameras all around the truck. When you put the truck into reverse, the side view mirrors are going to tilt down and give you a better view of what's behind you. It's just so easy. You can't lose. If you're letting the wife or the girlfriend who's maybe used to driving a much smaller vehicle drive this, if they use the cameras in tight spots, they're not going to have any trouble whatsoever. Ultimately, a very comfortable and enjoyable truck. Let's talk about what it's like to drive out on the road. Let's take a test drive. So as we get out on the road for our test drive, a couple of things I didn't mention earlier. There's just so much here. You get a lot for the price, that's for sure. A power adjustable, tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel, a lot of safety features, lane keep assist, you've got adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitoring, it's all here. You also have a head-up display, and you're going to have a multitude of ways you can configure that depending on what you want. You can actually have the speed up there and the speed limit and all that kind of stuff. You also have the rear view camera mirror, and so that has a lot of different options there, a lot of different uses, I should say, especially if you have somebody sitting in the rear seat in that middle area and they're big-headed, not because they have an attitude or anything like that, but they might, but they just have a big head physically. But that makes it possible to still easily see what's behind you. It does take a little bit of getting used to, that's for sure. But overall, this truck is a lot of fun to drive, and when you need power, it's definitely there for you. And while this isn't the largest engine you can get, you could opt for the 6.2-liter 420 horsepower V8. That one is definitely going to get the job done as well. It just depends on your needs and your situation. But this truck is very easy to drive. It has a nice, comfortable ride. And like I said, things that you can have on this truck that you don't necessarily have to have are here, such as the magnetic ride suspension. So there's a lot of options here as far as what you can pick and choose or leave out depending on what you want. But overall, this is a fun truck to drive, easy to get around in, especially with all those cameras around it for somebody who's maybe not used to a truck this size, if someone borrows it from you or whatever the case is. So tell me what you think down in the comments. Is this truck worth the sticker price of $74,555? And remember, just because you order a GMC Denali doesn't mean it has to have all of the features that this one has. There are a lot of things you can add that it doesn't, and some things you can remove that it does have to drop the price even into the $60,000 range, high 60s roughly. It can be done. So, gotta say a special thanks to my buddy who owns this truck that works at Morgan Buick GMC here in Shreveport, Louisiana, for loaning me his new truck for the day, and all of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you want to know about other vehicles that I have featured here on the Vehicle Visionary YouTube channel, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I'll see you there.